Alright, we are modding the Xbox One Generation 3 S controller today with the 7 watts Rapid Fire mod kit. Alright, when you are modding with the Generation 3 controller, you need to bridge the connection between the two middle pins, and you're going to want to cut down the green wire to about right here, which is about 50 millimeters. There's a couple different ways you could do this. You could run all the wires and attach them to their endpoints and then affix this, or you can affix it first and then run the wires to the endpoints. I'm doing it this way. Doesn't really matter, it's just a matter of preference. Alright, now we're going to scrape here for the B button connection. You want to be very careful that you don't cut back here or even back here. You got to make sure that the copper is connected to the black. If you cut in here and break that connection, your B button won't work. And you can work your way up this trace till and use that. If I haven't mentioned it already yet, don't do this unless you've done a lot of soldering or you know what you're doing. This is not a project for amateurs. Can't tell you how many controllers I freaking broke when I started this. Now you want to avoid right there and right there. You want to run your wires in between that because of how the case is constructed. That touches there and that touches there. So this case can smash your wires if you run them across there. Like I mentioned, this is rosin flux. You get it from Radio Shack. I've got it in a syringe because I do a lot of this. You can apply it with a fine tip paintbrush, like for art stuff. You also want to be careful here that you don't accidentally lift up the resistor or capacitor there, because that is difficult to fix. It can be done, but it's difficult. Just need to give it just a little bit of heat. solder, a little bit of heat, and we're good. Also, you don't want to put a big blob of glue on any of these surface components, these resistors and capacitors and whatnot, because if you have to pull off the glue, you run the risk of pulling off the component too. So we just did the left trigger connection, now we're going to do the right trigger connection. Exact same way. And you don't necessarily need to put all that hot glue on there. You can really just have that kind of sit free. I like to do it just because that's the way I've always done it. I know nothing's going to jostle around a whole bunch inside there. But I've also installed them where the wires just kind of sit there freely. You do want to make sure that they're affixed in places where they might come in contact with the case. But a lot of times it's optional. So now we're going to do the ground connection. Now we're going to run the sync button and the power connection. Alright, sync button is this blue wire, and on Gen 3 this is probably the trickiest part. We're going to attach to this tiny little TP test point 18. A tiny little blob of solder there. Right about like that. Put a little hot glue on there so if the wire gets yanked, it doesn't rip it off that touch point. Now we want to place the wire such that it doesn't get hung up on this brass contact piece, which makes contact here. We don't want the wire to get in between that, so we want to wrap the wire such that it comes down behind. Now we can go ahead and put our 3.5 millimeter, pour it back in. Make sure we don't smash that. Alright, now power. We source power on the Gen 3 directly from the battery point. So the mod actually won't work without the batteries being installed. Alright, now we got a little bit of slack in there so that if we need to lift up the board we can do so without having to desolder stuff. Last connection is the LED. This one is just like the other two generations of controller, but you have to be careful because there's a couple resistors right there and you don't want to get crossed in with those. Also, you need to avoid there, 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 and there again, because portions of the plastic casing come and rest on there, so you gotta stay away from there. And don't touch those resistors. And that's pretty good. Also, guys, do yourself a favor and get our toolkits. I've checked out all of the other ones that are available. They all suck. I used to use the same manufacturer as some of those other people that sell online, and I told them I wanted better screwdrivers because the ones they currently had sucked. They were too small. They were stripping out the screws. And the manufacturer basically told me to jump in a creek. So I found a top-notch manufacturer, not in China, and so I'm really happy with these good screwdrivers that I've got here. So get those. Alright, now we can test it out. Put the batteries inside. Plug it in. Reset the mod, right trigger, double tap sync. No blinking. Hold B, tap sync. Briefly flashes for 1 second. Hold trigger, tap sync. Briefly flashes for 1 second. Tap sync. Cycles through the mods. We're good. Thanks for watching, guys.
Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, especially if YouTube decided to unsubscribe you for no f***ing reason. Now, to clear a few things up, Webster defines subscribe as arrange to receive something regularly. But YouTube now defines it as don't tell me about the thing I specifically signed up to be told about, and instead make me hit another button I had no fucking clue existed in order to get the thing I already fucking told you I wanted in the first place, but have been missing out on for weeks. So, if you want to be actually notified when I make a new video, make sure to double subscribe by hitting the little bell button next to the now useless subscribe button. That should do the trick. Get it, get it, get it.